I was finna use my hotspot and try and use my little MacBook, but I'm glad I didn't have to. That would have been sketchy.
Yeah.
It would have been sketchy. Hotspot and try and use my little MacBook, but I'm glad I didn't have to. That would have been sketchy.
And we're already live. We can't chill backstage. Okay.
Yeah, you just everyone can hear you. I'm gonna text the chat.
Just make sure they know.
Yeah.
And the game seems a little loud on this. Let's just turn this down.
Shalom Yadadaya. Dahawan was good.
Y'all can hear me all right?
Okay.
Officer Aaron.
Yep.
Con. All right, we're gonna go ahead and kick it off in a second. Let me check the live stream real quick, see if there's anybody in there. Trying to get everybody a moment to get up in there. Yikes, man. Today was a long one. Oh, we're gonna get in the spirit.
God,
we're gonna eat a little bit, man. So tonight we're not gonna go into like a deep topic or a lot of information or tons of precepts. I don't think we'll of course go off the spirit a little bit. But it is a chapter that I wanted to address. As you all can see, 2MACCABEES chapter 6. We're going to address that. The chapter is fire. It's fire. It's a lot of history in Maccabees and the time frames and the kings. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of history, like I said. But I don't want to focus too much on the actual, I'm more focused on tonight the actual story and examining the story and the event instead of examining the timeline and the time frame. That's kind of where my spirit is at. Just to give y'all a heads up, so we're gonna touch on some things. So we got
Hey, you want me to read it or you gonna have Dahawan read it? I mean Zion.
I'm gonna probably have Zion read it because if I want to butt in and have him pause this, it's easier. The timing to be better since we live in person.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check this one more time. How many viewers on there, King?
Oh, you got 6 right now.
I'm starting to think y'all don't love God, man. Man. I'm starting to think. I know it's kind of late, man.
Oh, you got 6 right now.
Kind of want to go ahead and kick it off. What do you think? Should I kick it off already?
Okay.
All right, man.
You might be able to rewatch it.
Yeah, they can rewatch it, man. All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off. Get Deuteronomy 32 real quick. 32:7.
God, this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. It says, "Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations."
So tonight we're gonna look at some things that happened. The days of old. We're gonna look at those things. Keep going.
And it says, Ask thy father, and he will shew thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee.
So we actually have forefathers in the Bible. We have elders right now, in the Bible that's already recorded, the prophets, the apostles, Yahushua. We have elders, we have fathers. Even on when you look at it through another lens, just on a right now moment, we have fathers, we have elders, and we can ask them, and we can ask them about the things that happened before, So get another one real quick, Psalm 77. And just a few opening scriptures.
Psalm 77, what?
And like verse 4.
This is Psalms chapter 77, verse 4. It says, thou holdest my eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak.
Yeah, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, verse 5.
Verse 5, I have considered the days of old, the years of the ancient times.
So tonight we're gonna meditate, we're gonna consider, we're gonna remember the days of old.
So like it says, the years of ancient times. I added the.
So without further ado, let's hop into it. Yeah, you can use, you got your apocrypha. Let's go to 2 Maccabees. And Captain, if you got anything, green light. Officers, if y'all got anything, green light. Don't be discouraged. So tonight is gonna be good.
Shalom in the cut.
God, Shalom, King. He snuck in there. Shalom, man.
2 Maccabees what?
2 Maccabees chapter 6, and start at the top. It's going crazy, man.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1. It says, not long after this, the king sent old men of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
Look at how it kicked off. We kicking off in the middle of this timeline. Like I said, I'm not going to jump into the details of this timeline. Of course, you got Antiochus in the cut. And he's making it hell for the Israelites. Now, he actually sets up men in Israel to carry out his wishes. So like in 1 Maccabees chapter 1, it tells you that Antiochus was destroying our temple. He was taking everything out there. He was setting up, he was making us offer up strange things on our altar and on our temple. You got all kind of things breaking up. You got Judas Maccabees, they trying to get out the cut. They getting out of Jerusalem. They ducked off in the mountains. It's all manners of crazy stuff going on. And you kind of get different accounts in 1 Maccabees. You kind of get a deeper account of certain things in 2 Maccabees. So you got to be kind of studious and kind of link up those things and figure out what a timeline is. But like I said, tonight I got to make this a disclaimer. 2 Maccabees timeline is kind of crazy. It's kind of hard to put it together. Like I said, I'm not going to dive too much into that because I feel like that's a whole lesson in itself. So tonight we're going to kind of focus on the actual story. And we're going to eat some meat. All right, let's keep going on that though. Read it from the top again though.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1. It says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God.
So that's easy to understand. The king, he sent an old man to compel the Jews to turn away from the laws, statutes, and commandments. It also says, and to not live after the laws of God. Let's keep reading.
Verse 2, and to pollute also the temple of Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, Slakia, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Garizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
Come on.
Verse 3, the coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people.
Come on.
For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles.
So like I said, we kind of painting the picture quickly, but you kind of got to put your mind actually in the time frame, in the timeline, and be there, because this is history. This is our history. This actually happened to us. You have strange things going on in our temple. It says it was a lot of riots going on. It says it was grievous to our people. Because we know that the temple is a very, 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 very like holy, a place of reverence. You don't do nothing like that. You know how people feel about church right now? It's like you can get away with wicked stuff at home, and but then it's just a whole nother level when you do the same thing. Say a man like he likes smoking. He like doing those things at home. He that's just how he is. He don't do that stuff at church though. He like, that's a whole nother level of disrespect.
Respect your God.
Kind. So it says that the coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. It says, for the temple was filled with riot and reviling by the Gentiles. Come on.
Who delayed with harlots.
It's
that's right.
I think it's Delied,
who delied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides, they brought in things that were not lawful.
So they actually had harlots come in circuit in and out of the temple. Right? That's crazy. That's like putting a strip. I can't even make this similitude and really expect it to really just hit y'all spirit like that, because we know the Christian church is off. But
they damn near that.
Yeah, so just so I can actually try and paint the picture, I'll do it anyway. So imagine you're at church and a whole bunch of niggas just walk in with strip poles and disco lights, and they setting up a disco ball, and they turn off the church music and they just start playing name a rapper. Jay-Z. And they start playing, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Imagine that going on in church, in the middle of church, and they pulling up. You got strippers, coming in, and they got on the stripper clothes, lingerie. Just imagine that. I don't know if y'all can imagine this, but imagine it being 10 times worse, because this is the temple of God
in Jerusalem. It's crazy.
Imagine that. So
got a quick point.
Go ahead, King.
Back in the day, you would actually have prostitutes and whoremongers and strippers actually in the temple. They would actually be in the temple, and they would do that unto their God. If you look up the word sodomite in the blue letter, it says a male temple prostitute. And that's what a sodomite is a male temple prostitute. They would have them in the temple, and that's what because in this Maccabees, it says that they should call the temple in Jerusalem, that they should call it the temple of Jupiter. They trying to worship their gods, and maybe that's how Jupiter got down. They wanted a prostitute to be in there. They wanted male and female prostitutes to be in there. If anybody watched the movie 300, you will see how a lot of how back in the day they would move. They would have 100 women in there. Everybody would be drunk or on some type of drugs or it would be spirits everywhere. And that's how they wanted it to move. It was a demonic spirit in there. So that's how they would have it in the temple back then. But Khan, you got it, King.
Hey, Salakia, can I touch on it too?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, King.
Hey, so another thing too, when you go into the word Jupiter, it's the same thing that's in the New Testament in the book of Acts. Jupiter goes, the blue letter for Jupiter is Zeus. So that's the god that they were serving, the god of Zeus. And we know Zeus goes into the same myths that the Greeks was following, goes into Hercules and all of those false gods, man. God, people still worship today.
Because Rome, Salakia, I want to add to that, because Rome took over Greece, and they took over their gods. They just gave them different names. Zeus was Jupiter. That's how Rome named it Jupiter. So they had the same gods. They just changed the names up a little bit. That's all. But that's it.
Con. So the water for the strong points and elaborating on that. Let's go to where we at? Verse 5 now. Verse 5, King.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 5. It says, the altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feast, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So all hell is breaking off. I want to grab the account in 1 Maccabees because I want to see if I can find it real quick.
You speaking about the first chapter?
Yeah.
I think it's
Real
like
quick.
41. I think it started like 41.
Read 1 Maccabees 1 and 41, King.
This is 1 Maccabees 1, verse 41. And it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So Antiochus, he's over a whole bunch of different promises. He like, look, we divided. We need everybody to be one underneath me. Hey, it's similar to what they call a one world, what they call it?
One world order.
You know,
One government.
one world government. And this is why I wanted to go to this chapter, because I wanted to elaborate on more of the story rather than the timelines, because the story has, both of them is weighty, but the mindset that I'm in right now, and kind of where my spirit is right now in this moment, the things just that I experienced today, it kind of just got me in this kind of mood. And I could see some of these things that's happening right now is going to pop off soon. So start preparing yourself mentally for the things like this. And one of the things that I kind of just overlook today, but I kind of was brought to my attention. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of moving, and I can speak on this because this is my life and my situation. It's not even about like financial trouble. It's actually just the position that the Most High God put me in this exact moment. And I know He's gonna bring me out of it like at any moment. You know, I already know, like, it's nothing. It's not. But I want y'all to consider this. Get ready for everything that you have to be taken from you at any moment. Like all of your possessions, everything. Being possessionless, like not having anything. I was thinking about it with my wife when we was in a garage, and I was just like,
it feels like Jacob's show.
I was like, a few hours ago, like I had
a house,
a 2-story townhouse, and I had all of this room. I just had space, yard. And now like an hour later, it's a humbling experience, and I'm like, dang, like, yeah. And I was like looking at my wife. I'm like, imagine us literally, it's just me and you, like, you know, we don't have anything, like we don't even have a change of clothes. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine, like, literally not knowing what you're gonna eat tomorrow? Because right now you might not have food in the refrigerator, but you got money. You got a car. You can go get. You can Uber it. Uber Eats. You can immediately, whatever your taste buds is telling you want, or your stomach, you like. You can. It's tangible. You can have it right then and there. But imagine being possessionless, where money isn't worth anything, where you don't have connections anymore, where the cellular towers are shut down. You don't have a car. You don't have a house. You don't have a change of clothes. You don't have those things no more. Imagine it actually being brought down to nothing. Where would your mind be at? What would you be thinking about?
How much knowledge I have.
Right. You'd be like, you know,
it's here.
You'd be stuck out there, you know. So that's kind of where my mind was at. So it was in my spirit to kind of dive in Maccabees a little bit. Okay, let's get back where we was. So like, yeah, that took like 10 minutes. So
that's fine. You did good.
We was like at 42.
42?
Yeah.
This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 42. It says, and everyone should leave his laws. So all heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
He's telling everybody to stop what they're doing. Everything you believe in, your customs, the way you live your life, the way you live, you raised your family, all of these things, put that on pause. You got to do what I say. Imagine this happened. It's hard to prepare yourself and to think about things that hasn't happened, but that's why we have the scriptures. Through the scriptures, we get comfort. We have hope. We can actually foresee things. Somebody said, "You good? You had to get that out." All praise to the Most High God. Khan, he gets it. So check this out, man. Can I share my screen right now? The bar. We can.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, Khan, do that for me.
Hey, so while you getting that, can I get this? All right, Con. So look, let me add it. All right. So look, this is going into First Maccabees 1:41. What he bringing out where it says King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom that all should be one people. Hey, this has not gone anywhere. This is still applied to today, and this is the New World Order book. And it says, and this is what it was talking about, the same with King Antiochus. He was trying to create a new world, right? And it says it has 3 different things that they was working on for changes. And this is today's society. And one of them is the family. You got the workplace, and the last one is religion. And it says religion will be outlawed and believers will be either eliminated or imprisoned. There will be a new religion, the worship of man and his mind. All will believe in the new religion. And this is exactly what they was doing in not only Maccabees, but in the book of Esther also. All the heathen kings told you to do the lust of your flesh, man. Do what yourself tell you to do. And that goes into the New World Order, man. Serve yourself.
So, like, give me one more second.
God.
Can you? All right, Con. Okay. All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, King?
No, it's good.
Yeah, I can hear you, Salakia.
All right, Con. So look, this is just something to think about. So the other night, I don't know how it happened, but I was talking to my homie, and I was kind of talking about a prophet, and I was kind of like explaining to the person I was talking to, like what a prophet is, what a prophet does, kind of what it goes into. And I end up running into this word psychic. You can see my screen, right?
God, we can see your screen out.
I'll put that here just to see our position.
Okay, Con. So I was reading, I was just, I like to look at Google. I just love to see what Google got to say about it, because it's just so just quick and easy just to see, like, what they say. But look at the synonyms they have for the word psychic. The definition says a person considered or claiming to have psychic powers, a medium. It says, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Clairvoyant.
It says, right, King right here.
Graduate.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everybody else, but I can barely see those letters though.
Okay, well, I'll as I'm here, I'll outline them and I'll kind of do my thing. So it says a prophet. Underneath a synonym for psychic, it says a prophet. Then it says a seer. And I'm like, what?
Damn.
A psychic, a synonym for being a prophet or a seer is a psychic. I was just like, what? We could literally say that we psychic, and it wouldn't be far-fetched.
The Lord psychics.
Exactly. The Lord really blessed us with that. I don't know if, for me, this is crazy. I know some people might just be like, whatever. It also says an oracle. It says a priest or priestess acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods and classical antiquity. That's another synonym for psychic. Of course, you have prophet, It says a person regarded as an inspired teacher or proclaimer of the will of God.
Damn.
So this is why I actually just go through and look at these words. So I'll be more persuasive when I'm actually teaching someone. Because what's the point of teaching if no one can hear you? You have to be able to get through to a person. And sometimes I could say prophet, but that might not click. A prophet, I'm like, hey bro, I'm psychic. Somebody might actually be like, you know what? What else does this man have to say? You know, just so that's just something I just found interesting. You know, it's the Sabbath. We should have time tonight, so I just thought I'd go to this. So go ahead, King.
Can you go back to the Oracle one?
Yes, I can. It was fire, huh?
Hey, so look, because I want to get a scripture to match that.
God, what you in? Sirach 33?
Man,
okay,
Romans. So this is Romans chapter 3, verse 1. It says, what advantage have the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? So what advantage that the Jew have than the rest of the world? And it's going to tell us. It says, much in every way, chiefly, and more importantly, chiefly, because unto them were committed the oracles of God. We was given this power to be able to tell the past, present, and future. Well, go ahead, Art.
God, I got to throw another precept on it. This is Sirach 33 and 3.
This is Sirach chapter 33, verse 3. It says, a man of understanding trusteth in the law.
A man who has any form or any type of understanding, it says he puts his trust in the laws of God. Come on.
And the law is faithful unto him.
And the laws can never steer you wrong. It's faithful. It doesn't cause you to err. It doesn't make you fall. It says it's faithful. You can depend on the law. Come on.
As an oracle.
As an oracle. What does the definition, just the Google definition say for oracle once more? And then we'll go back to StreamYard and we'll get on with the 2nd Maccabees. Oracle says, a priest or priests acting as a medium through whom advice. That's sticking right now. As a medium,
that is too.
It says as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods in classical antiquity. It says the law will be as an oracle to you, man. You know, faithful. You know,
hey,
and the oracle gives advice. It's like, go ahead, King.
That it said as a medium.
A medium.
Hey, and a medium is somebody that's in the middle. So how shall get a message to us through the Bible, and we get a message to the people.
Something. This is the definition for medium. Just because we got time, it's the Sabbath. It says something that is in the middle. And look, sometimes while I'm like me and the IKM, especially Officer Aaron, we'll be showing each other stuff, and while we in the dead center of me showing them something that I already know, we're like, you know, we're diving into something we don't know. So this is kind of what's going on. Like, and Captain DeBar, we learning while we teaching. We still eating all together. You know, it's not all about me feeling like I'm a teacher. Sometimes, you know, I'm a student always. It says the definition for medium says something that is in the middle position, like Captain DeBar says, the thing by which or through which something is done. Writing is a medium of communication. That kind of hit when you think about the law, statutes, commandments. Them things was left in writing for us. And that's how the Most High God communicates with us. He doesn't just jump off his throne. It says the substance in which something lives or acts as the medium of air. That's just something to think about. So y'all got anything? Hey man, how I get back to this? You know, this is confusing me, bro. What I do? Click this?
Oh, nah.
All right, God, let you work. Stop. Oh, you could just tell me that. Stop sharing right there. I can't. All right, so
I just had to figure out myself too.
Right, so I gotta get better at the StreamYard stuff. Anybody got anything before we get back to Maccabees? Because I'm not in a rush. It's the Sabbath. Hopefully everybody is with me in the spirit, man. So Salakia. Like I said, I didn't really have everything. When I do lessons, I don't usually structure it out exactly to a T because I let the spirit work. I make room for the spirit, you know. Do any of the captain's officer got anything though?
Lie.
Go ahead,
All right.
King.
Khan. Officer Tahwam. Khan.
La.
All right, Khan. Let's get back to Maccabees.
Khan.
So we was at First Maccabees 1 and 42. And you can kind of read through this fast, and we'll go back to Second Maccabees. I'm gonna have you read down to like verse 50, maybe. I'm not sure.
This is First Maccabees chapter 1. So I like you.
Start at 43. So what just happened? Antiochus, he's telling everybody, hey, I need you to come under me. It's a new world order underneath me. Everybody follow me. Verse 43.
This is verse 43. It says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
It's going to be a whole bunch of Israelites. Shalom, Rudy. It's going to be a whole bunch of Israelites. Look at the word it says. What did the Israelites do?
It says consented to his religion.
They consented to his one world order. They got down with it. They didn't go against it. What? Let's keep reading.
And sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath.
Hey, they start serving his gods. They start getting down with his religion.
Seems like they were waiting on that.
That's crazy. Let's keep reading.
Verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and they should follow the strange laws of the land.
So the king sent letters and messages to the Israelites and to the people that dwelt in them lands that they should follow the strange laws that he was setting up. Let's keep going.
Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
So he was telling them, all of the things that y'all been doing, I need y'all to stop doing those things. I need y'all to quit doing those things. Hey, no more sacrifices and burnt offerings and making repenting for your Lord. We need you to stop doing that. It says you got to profane the Sabbaths and the festival days. Bruh, I just seen something in 2 Maccabees chapter 5, and I want to share it with y'all real quick because it actually, just how it was worded, it kind of blew my mind. Let me see if I can get it real quick.
You said what you looking for? I can get it for you.
2 Maccabees 5
and 5.
25 and 26. 5 and 25 and 26. Read that.
God, it's
Maccabees 5 and 26.
He got it. He got it.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Captain.
All right, God, this is 2 Maccabees chapter 5, verse 25. Who coming to Jerusalem and pretending peace.
Antiochus, he came to Jerusalem pretending that he was actually going to be making peace with us. He was pretending, he was faking it. It tells you that in First Maccabees also. Keep reading.
It says, pretending peace did forbear to the holy day of the Sabbath. When taking the Jews keeping holy day, he commanded his men to arm themselves.
So he was pretending to be peaceful the whole time. It says he forbeared until the Sabbath day. Why? Because on the Sabbath day, we rest. We don't make war. We chill. He made it seem like he was peaceful all the way up until the Sabbath day so he could spoil us because he knew that we probably wouldn't fight back. It's against the law. Let's keep going.
God, verse 26. And so he slew all them that were gone to the celebrating of the Sabbath.
Look at what the Sabbath is. It's a celebration.
God.
Hey, I want you to be there. Go to 2 Maccabees 5 and 26 and read that in your head. Go ahead.
God. It says, and so he slew all the men that were gone to the celebration of the Sabbath. And
it says that the Sabbath is a celebration, a holy convocation. Hey, Tahawam, Officer Tahawam, I need you to bring that out. You should know what I want. I need you right now.
It's not that I gotta keep the Sabbath, it's I get to keep the Sabbath.
You know what I want?
Bro, I heard it. Yeah,
you already know what I want. God. That's spiritual. That's chemistry right there. That's chemistry right there. That's in season, out of season right there. He knew what I wanted. But it says that the Sabbath is a celebration. That's in there, bro. That's in there. We're supposed to be having fun right now. You know, it should be fun, you know. So the point that I went there was just to show y'all that it was worded like that. Sabbath was a celebration. Let's go back to 1 Maccabees, Baba Kasha.
You don't want me to finish it?
Yeah, you can actually. Go ahead.
John, verse 26. It says, and running through the city with weapons slew great multitudes.
God. So Antiochus sent his men, and they was running through Jerusalem, killing people, man. I think the number was like 40,000 men, or something like that. It was something crazy. I just read it, but it slipped my mind. It said like 400 and something. We'll probably read it anyways in chapter 6, but
Yeah, it was 40,000. It's in verse 14.
Okay, God, the water. So let's go back to 1 Maccabees. I am slack here. We had like verse 46.
46.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Now hold on. I don't want to run through that. Now, my captain Jeremiah, he pulled this out not too long ago. And I forgot all about it, but I gotta grab it right now. I gotta grab it. Ezekiel 11 and 16 says, and then I'll make my point after I read the scripture. I got it, gang. Ezekiel 11 and 16 says, therefore say, thus said the Lord God. It's like him. That's my word, is terrible. Thus said the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, the Most High God casted us off, far off among the heathen. Watch what he says. And although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. So the Most High God, even though he pushed us off to the four corners of the earth, he said he was going to set up little sanctuaries for us. You know, it's sanctuaries out there. Everybody should understand that. So it's going to be another time where the Gentiles, the heathens, they come and they try and set up another one world order and destroy our sanctuaries. Now, you can look at these sanctuaries however you want. Right now, I kind of want you to think about it as the camps, because these camps are so we know that the sanctuaries, that's where you would actually, it's like the holy place. It's like where the Most High God is at. Now, a lot of times, yeah, it's like a safe place. It's holy, it's separate. Now, a lot of these camps, even though we're not perfect and we're not doing things to the T and perfection, how we're required to do, but a lot of people find peace. A lot of people get understanding. A lot of people came to repentance by these camps. And I'm referring to these camps as little sanctuaries among the Gentiles, because you have little camps and sanctuaries all over the world now. So it's going to be another time where the heathens come and try and destroy these sanctuaries. And it's the main sanctuaries they're going to be targeting is these camps, especially these big camps like IUIC. You know, we could go all day about these camps, and I'm not saying this to talk bad about them, of course. It's so you can have your mind prepared. It tells you that stability of our times is going to be knowledge. That's why you need to take these things serious. Make sure you actually have brothers you can study with. You have, these camps, it's not really just a camp, it's a family. Make sure you're building these relationships with certain brothers. Make sure you know these brothers on the personal level. Like Officer Thafferwan, he displayed a beautiful thing. That's chemistry. We actually know each other like that. I didn't know him before the truth. I didn't know Captain DeBar before the truth. I didn't know Zion before the truth. So, but now I actually will put my life on the line for certain brothers,
God.
We family. It's not just a camp. So I encourage brothers to actually get them, surround themselves with more like-minded brothers and become a family. It's not about your camp name and, well, I'm of Apollos and I'm of Paul. If you got ears to hear, we all of the same body and we all of Christ, Lord willing. So like, I keep kind of, go ahead, Aaron, I see you.
Con, you done? I just wanted to add real quick to this.
You got it.
All right, Con. I'm going to read this Ezekiel 11. And you just read 16, yes?
Con.
All right, Con. I'm reading again. It says, Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. So the Most High said that he will be as a sanctuary. And the brother already broke it down. The sanctuary is kind of going into a safe place, a place of refuge, a place of safety, a place of comfort. I'm gonna grab this precept. This is Psalms 91:1. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. It says, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. And what is the secret place of the Most High? The secret place is these scriptures, you know, because everybody in the world try to find God, but they don't know where to look. They don't know where to find him at. He's in these scriptures, you know. He's in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He said you'd only know him. How? If you keep his law, statutes, commandments. You can only get the gift of wisdom from him. This is what this is going into. We got to be in the secret place of the Most High. He said that the officer brought it out already. The stability of thy time shall be wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's where we need to be at. We need to be abiding in the secret place of the Most High. I'm going to read verse 3. It says, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wing shalt thou trust. His trust shall be thy shield and buckler. In these last days, he's going to be covering us. We're going to be in his place. They're not going to be able to find us. They're not going to be able to harm us. Same thing that happened with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They weren't able to harm them. Same way with Daniel. Same way with Elijah. All the prophets of old. Jeremiah got thrown in prison, but guess what? He got right out. Paul went through a lot, but he never was harmed. He was okay. You know, the scriptures say, he that keepeth the commandments shall feel no evil thing. You know, Paul got stoned, and guess what? Got right back up and went right back out there. This is nothing. Why? Because he abideth in the secret place of the Most High. The Most High made himself a little sanctuary unto Paul. He made him a little sanctuary unto Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He made him a little sanctuary unto us in these last days. And this is where we got to be. But kind of, you got it.
Con, my boy snapping, getting in the spirit. Con, that's what I like to see, man. That's what I like to see. Con, the water for that. We needed that, man. We needed that. Verse 47.
This is 2MACCABEES chapter 1, verse 47. It says, set up altars and groves and chapels.
Oh, read verse 46 again. I pulled the precept, but I didn't elaborate on this verse. Go ahead.
It's like, this is 2MACCABEES chapter 1, verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
So the little sanctuary is going to be polluted just like our old sanctuary was polluted. You know, and he's going to try and pollute our whole nation, our whole people. You know what I'm saying? So that was the point why I pulled the Ezekiel 11 and 16. And the same point Aharon elaborated on to strengthen that point. Let's go back to, let's keep going, 47.
47, it says, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beast.
God, so what he wanted to do is to tear down the things that we was doing and to start establishing his own laws, statutes, and commandments, his own gods, his own ordinances, and so forth and so on. He actually went as far to tear our things down to build up his own groves, altars, and chapels of idols and sacrifice unclean flesh like swan flesh. You know, that's abomination for the Israelites, but that's the kind of things he was sacrificing to his God. And everybody knows that this is the crazy part, and you'll read about it in Judah chapter 5. All of the other nations knew that if we were in sin, they could overcome us. So the other nations stayed, and they only wanted to make war with us when we was in sin and going off with our God, because they knew we was able to be conquered. The Most High God wouldn't deliver us. So they would try and get us in sin first. And if you're studious, here's the chapter again, Judith chapter 5, if you want to go check that out. Let's keep going.
God, this is 2MACCABEES chapter 1, verse 48, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
So they was trying to force us to be uncircumcised. Come on.
And make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanity.
Profanation. So I can. It says
profanation.
So what they trying to do is make us like them. It tell you in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. I know that's Officer Aharon's chapter he likes to go to. One of the things it says though, I gotta grab it because it's the Sabbath, and we can't rush our food tonight. We gotta eat it slow, you know. We gotta taste every piece of it. Watch what it says. Verse. Let me see. Verse. I'm gonna read verse 15 and 16. It's fire. It says, so this chapter, this is what the wicked thinks in his mind and what he says out of his mouth. So usually when you read the Bible, you read it in like first person, like it's you know. But right now you got to read it like you're a damn heathen, because this is what the heathens are actually thinking and saying. So this is what the heathen said in verse 15. It says, he is grievous. Let's start at 12. Man, this chapter is fire. I'm gonna start at 12. It says, therefore, let us lie and wait for the righteous. This is the wicked. This is what the wicked says. Let us lie and wait for the righteous. It says, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean, contrary to our doings. So the wicked, the heathens, they know that the Israelites, they're clean, they're pure, they're honest, they're sincere. They said it out of their own mouth. We're contrary, we're different. And when we came out of the womb, you could see Esau and Jacob, they was different. Two manners of men. The Most High God said it would be two different manners of people. It says, he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law. And we tell the heathen right now on the highways and byways in this day, in this era, we tell them like, hey, y'all niggas wicked as hell. Y'all going off according to the law, statutes, and commandments. And we give them their judgment. How they going to go into captivity? How they going to build up Jerusalem? We're going to tell them their place. It says, an objective to our infamy. Infamy is just evil. You can look it up. It says an objective to to their infamy. So when we see their evil, we object it. No, we're not going to be like that. We're not doing those things. We're going to follow the law. It says the transgressings of our education. Look at the words that it's using. And that's one thing that Esau likes to does. He tries to make it seem like education and being smart is the same as wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You got what I'm saying? Because I would pick wisdom, knowledge, and understanding over being a damn bookworm any day of the year. I'll actually want to be able to utilize the things that I learn instead of just being book smart and just knowing Pythagorean theorem and algebra 2 and calculus. When do you ever need those things? That's you being smart. We're going to deal with wisdom. We're going to deal with knowledge. We're going to deal with understanding. We're going to be prudent. We don't need Pythagorean theorem no more. That's never benefited us. We don't need calculus no more. That's never benefited our people. What we need is the sincere milk of the word so we can actually grow thereby. What we need is the actual law, statutes, commandments, right? And they'll be faithful unto us like an oracle, you know, and we'll know how to stay on that straight and narrow path. It says, he professeth to have the knowledge of God. This is what the wicked do. He professed to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. And you see heathens go up and down in America calling themselves a child of God. They say that, and they profess that they know God and have a personal relation. This should get you upset. This should kind of get your spirit hot, like, bro, you don't know God at all. You're not a child of God. That's me, not you. Verse 14, it says, he was made to reprove our thoughts. That's what the wicked says about us. We were actually made to correct and to reprove the heathen. And he knows it. This is what he says in his heart. It says, he is grievous unto us, even to behold. When the wicked look at us, when the heathen look at us, they don't even want to look at us. That's what it's saying. It's grievous. And they do this. We talk about this all the time. They do this. You know what the Edomites do every time they see a black dude? They get a little white person smile a little.
Like even that.
Yeah, they give you a little, you know, like it's grievous for them to look at us. You know, they try and look away. You know, it says it's crazy how accurate the Bible is. It says, for his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion. That's what the heathen say about us. We're not like everybody else. You know, the ways that we move is of another cloth. We cut from a different fabric. That's what the heathen know this. That's why they try and be like us. That's why they try and be culture vultures, you know, try and steal the drip. You know, that's what it is. Man, I could keep going on this chapter, and I'm never gonna get to 2 Maccabees chapter 6, man. So Salakia, if you're studious, you'll read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. You should be writing this down as homework. So I gave you Judah chapter 5, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. Write that down if you're studious. Let's go back
to 2 Maccabees.
Yeah, 2 Maccabees chapter 6, man.
Oh, 1 Maccabees. So 2 Maccabees?
Done with that? Yeah, I'm done with 1 Maccabees. We kind of got the point.
Okay.
Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. And I'm going to try my best to just kind of read the chapter and elaborate on it instead of pulling so many precepts, because
it's a Sabbath.
I know that y'all, I don't know how big y'all bellies is. You know, I know how it be. But like so Josiah said, it is the Sabbath. We should go at a slower pace, honestly. Think I'm moving too fast? No? All right, Kyle, let's keep going. 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 6.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 6. It says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So Antiochus was establishing things in this one world order, in this new world government that he was creating. It became unlawful. It became wrong for us to have our identity, our heritage, the things that were rightfully ours. He made those things unlawful. Them things became punishable by death. Let's keep going.
Verse 7, and in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices.
And this is kind of how birthdays begin. They would celebrate their birthday not once a year. You would see it in history. They would celebrate it every month. So they have, 12 birthdays, and they would celebrate it on the day of each month. So on this particular birthday, by Antiochus, and we was brought under subjection. We was forced to do things against our will, like partaking in eating of unclean things. Let's keep going.
Salakia.
Aharon got the point. Go ahead, King.
Khan, this chapter is really important that you know this chapter if you want to understand the Gentiles breakdown. It is very important, because I'm gonna get this one quick precept. This is Romans 10 and 12. It says, for there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. Why does it say that there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek? Because right here in 2 Maccabees 6 and 6, it says that it wasn't lawful for us to call ourselves Jews, and we were under Greeks, so we had to call ourselves Greeks.
If I may, real quick, and you can go back to your point.
Go ahead.
You got to remember, 1 Maccabees, he said we consented to his religion, so we actually start professing ourselves to be Greeks. Go ahead, Ak.
Khan, we started professing ourselves to be Greeks, and Paul is hitting the scene because all Jerusalem wasn't just under the Greek rulership at the time. We still had some people that was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments in certain areas and whatnot. So when Paul was going out here teaching, you had Pharisees like, I'm not dealing with this Greek. He's a Grecian. Look at him. So that's why Paul hit the scene and was like, there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek. There's no difference between y'all. Y'all still brothers. Y'all still come from the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's key that about the Maccabean era. And about the time of the Hellenization period, because this is the Hellenization period right now when we became Greeks. You have to understand that to understand Paul's letters, to understand what Paul is actually talking about. It's not talking about an ethnic Greek. It's talking about a Greek or a Jew that becomes a Greek, a convert, somebody who converted to be Greek because we were forced to. But Khan, go ahead, King.
And
What you got, King?
I just got one point. So, and another thing too is the scripture he read is to the Romans supposedly, but he's calling them Greeks. It's because like he said, the Greek captivity was right before the Roman captivity. That's why he's saying there's no difference between the Jew and the Greeks. Why he just didn't say there's no difference between the Jew and the Romans? Because it was the Hellenization period right before. But Salaki, that's all I have.
One thing that I was thinking just now to piggyback off your point, Salaki, and I think it's 2MACCABEES chapter 8. Everyone knew that just because you was under the jurisdiction of Romans, that don't mean that you was actually a Roman, because the Romans allowed everyone to be a part of their nation. You know,
like America.
Yeah, like America. That don't mean that you're them. You know, it's just America. It's just a place. It don't really have no, nothing behind it. It don't have an ethnicity directly behind it. It's just a landmass. And that's kind of what Rome was about too, because they was huge.
Mm-hmm.
They was huge. They had everything. I should pull up a map just so people can understand. But grab 1 Corinthians 12, Baba Kashai. I'm on verse 2.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. It says, "Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols."
It says, you know of a certain that you was a Gentile. Why did he word it like that? Paul, what's going on? All Paul is trying to get you to understand is that, nigga, you're not really a Gentile. You an Israelite. You know that you was a Gentile when you was carried away by these dumb idols. Is more on it?
Yeah, kind of. It says, even as ye were led.
Even as you was led. Just how Antiochus pulled up on you was led away by those things. So you're not really a Gentile, King. You're really an Israelite. Come back home. So Paul got to talk to him like that, and you're not going to understand it unless you can actually place yourself in the right timeline and frame of mind. That's why being a historian sometimes is very important. It's not just about head wraps and dresses and fringes. Sometimes you got to actually know what's going on. So I encourage brothers to be more studious when it comes to history, our history in general. You're never going to go wrong with it because history is true. It's facts. Let's go back to 2MACCABEES chapter 6. Dahawam, if you got anything or any points, bring it out, King.
This is 2MACCABEES chapter 6, verse what?
We have verse
7. This is 2MACCABEES chapter 6, verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy.
Come on.
Verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities and of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
So it's just going around this, it's spreading around that everybody should be keeping the same laws and religion of what Antiochus is setting up. Let's keep going.
Verse 9. And
hey, look, why is Joe what? No one said anything about a tribe, a chart.
That's exactly what he's doing. Just go ahead, Doc. That's exactly he doing exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what he's doing.
It's the Sabbath. We chilling, bro. What you over here on weird stuff for? Hey, you got to check your spirit, Joe. Check your spirit because you off. Let's keep going.
It says, verse 9, and whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery.
So it actually became punishable by death if you didn't consent to this new world order that was being set up. And that's going to be the same thing. Why? Because history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. So you got to put yourself in the right frame of mind and prepare yourself for these things. Everybody think that America cannot be touched, but it can and it will be. You got something?
Quick point.
Con, go ahead, King.
Keep going. I got
Kind. I know that I bring up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego a lot, but it actually touches on a lot of stuff that we're touching on right now. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, what was going on? It was Nebuchadnezzar was trying to set up a one world order. When anytime you hear this, everybody bow down and worship my God. If you do not, you will be punished by what? By death. Same thing we read right here. If you do not sit there and get down with what we getting down with, you'll be punished by death. It's simple. You know, like you said, history repeats itself. It's nothing new under the sun. Same thing with the Tower of Babel. Everything go back to the Tower of Babel. You know, everybody was of one mind, one speech, one language, and the Most High split it up. What do you think he gonna do here? He gonna split it up. So but just even though in those days, the Most High always saved people out of it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they got saved out of it. You know, it's gonna be people that get saved in these times of tribulation if you fear and trust the Most High. You have to put all your trust in the Most High. You can't doubt. You know, that's what we're here for. Now, it is gonna be a lot of brothers that have to die for the truth, and it is what it is. They're going to count the cost. That's what Yahushua said. We have to drink of the same cup as Yahushua. You know, and that is what it is. That's fulfilling the law of Christ. Go ahead, King.
Kind, nicely put. And we gotta go over lessons like this, so Jake don't get kind of sidetracked. And it's also a little bit of exhortation in this lesson. Exhortation is kind of you lifting up a brother. We showing you certain things that happened, and we telling you also that these certain things are going to happen again. And we want to exhort you. We want to gird you. We want to lift you up and give you enough strength. These kind of things should build faith also. Hey, to your faith, you want to add wisdom. Look, so what I'm trying to say is that we exhorting y'all when these things do crack off to be strong. You know, be patient. Let the Most High God, give the Most High God room to work. Let him save you, you know. So we kind of give you a little exhortation with this lesson because these things is going to happen. You know, and when these things happen, you're going to think about all of these things that you learned from certain brothers. And them things, Lord willing, will give you comfort and enough strength to overcome these things. Because it tell you in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, that the Most High God that's faithful, and he's going to put you through temptation. But with those two temptations testing you, he's going to make a way for you to escape. You know, he's never going to put you in something that you never had a chance. You know, he's going to put you in the ring with the opponent that you should be able to win. You know, so that's a little exhortation. Go check out that scripture. You know, it's the Sabbath. We ain't got nothing but time, man. You got something?
Nah.
Okay, Con. Let's keep going. We have verse 10 now.
Yeah, verse 10. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breast, they cast them down headlong from the walls."
God. So when women would actually circumcise their kids, they would kill the kids and they would kill the women also. It says that they cast them down headlong from the wall. And I think that the wall that they actually referring to, I may be wrong, but my guess is the wall that is around Jerusalem, you know, and then we have walls. We would get up our city so that intruders couldn't just come in. But I could be wrong. It's just an assumption. But let's keep going. That's not the point.
Verse 11, "And others, they had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day."
So when people seen that we was getting killed and slain by Antiochus men, a lot of us would flee. like Judas Maccabees and his sons, it tell you that they dipped off too. You know, certain people would dip off to the mountains and dwell in caves. It says they was eating herbs, you know, living like beasts. They didn't have the things that we have now. You know how we got Zoom and StreamYard and Pizza Rolls and Hot Pockets and Pepsis and Coca-Colas. There's going to be a time where we have to neglect all of our possessions, everything that we have. Hey, turn the first Maccabees real quick. Actually, I get it. I'm not doing that. There's going to be a time where we have to do the same things that our forefathers did. And if you can't see yourself doing it, you need to make sure you check in your spirit, because it might be a time, it is going to be a time where you have to do these things. So first Maccabees chapter 1 and 28. It says, I'm going to read 27 so you can kind of see what's going on. It says, and Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So if you read first Maccabees, you would know that Mattathias, he's seen someone offering strange sacrifices on the Lord's temple, on his altar. And he got zealous for the Lord and he killed that man. So after he killed him, he like, hey, whoever is zealous for the law, whoever want to keep the commandments, come with me. We finna get out of here. It says, so he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that they ever they had in the city. So Mattathias and his sons, they shook the spot and left everything. They left everything. It says they left everything.
Damn. No remorse.
And they didn't look back. They didn't say, man, I miss my bed. I miss my MacBook. Man, it'd be real nice if I had that Mountain Dew in the fridge. But no, they left everything, gang. So a little bit more exhortation. You got to get in that right frame of mind where you can leave everything, because a lot of things is temporary. Soldier Quadash, it was first Maccabees 2 and 28. I might have said 1. I believe it's 2 and 28. Officer Aharon, go ahead.
Kind of the point I wanted to make was the reason why them men wasn't complaining about certain things when they left is because they were men, you know. These they not like, damn, I wish I had my bed and I wish I did have a Tempur-Pedic back at home. You know, I had I had the pillow that always stayed cold. No, these was men. These was men of valor. Nicanor, they took Nicanor's head off and then took his hand off and then be like, ew. No, they didn't say that. They said all praises to the Most High, because these are men. But Esau nowadays is trying to make everybody effeminate. He's trying to make you think that you need something that you don't. Like, damn, if I ain't got my bed, man, my back gonna be hurting. Damn, if I ain't got the TV, I'm gonna be bored. If I ain't got my phone, how can I get in contact with people? You know, he makes you need all of these certain things when you don't even need all of these things. You know, so when the time kick off, you don't need to be second guessing. You don't need to be doubting and looking back. Like, damn, I left my phone. I just charged it. I need it. No, nigga, be a man in that day. Your family needs you. That's the thing that they need. They need you. You need to be a pillar in that day. You need to be a light in that day. They need you. You don't need something else. Only thing you need is the Most High and his grace and his mercy. You do not need these materialistic items and this technology and all this stuff. You know? Be a man in that day. Don't be a boy. Don't be a child. Don't be a kid. Be a man in that day. But go ahead.
So this is I gotta pull a precept out while we're on it. I might pull out 2. This is Genesis 28 and 11. Genesis 28 and 11 says, and he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. So Jacob, hey, look, the sun starts setting. He lighted up the camel. He started getting his stuff ready because, you know, the sun going down. You got to get right. You know, you can't do too much. I'm here where I'm at. You don't have street lights. You don't have stoplights. You don't have flashlights. Look, the sun going down. I'm gonna have to sleep right here because if I don't sleep right here, I ain't gonna know where I am. I can't be wandering at night. See, and here in America, when it get dark, you still got light. That's not really how it is. You know, you got the moon and the stars, but look, it's still dark out there. And if you don't know astrology and you don't know how the things go up there in the heavens, then you need to just sit down. You're gonna have to just sit down. So Jacob, he sat down. It says, and he took. I'm gonna start from the top because this verse is so fire. Genesis 28:11 says, and he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows and laid down in that place to sleep. Here we got Tempur-Pedic beds, like Officer Aharon said, and you know you can flip the pillow and get back to the cool side, and you got the little what's the little thing, the heating pad because your back hurt. Sundown towns. So like, can you remove that off the screen? I don't know if I did that. I don't know. Is it a reason why you put that there, King?
God, I think you're talking about like when you was going into the moon and all that.
Sundown towns. Oh,
Yeah.
so like, yeah. I'm not good at astrology. You know, Lord willing, the most I got blessed me or one of my Akiam so that they can teach me because I'm not on that.
I think what he mean the sundown towns is he going back into back in the racism days. Basically, if the sun went down on you and you're a Negro, like, you know, it'd be wicked stuff that happens.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So we actually have places like that here in Oklahoma. Officer Tahawam and Officer Aharon were just talking to me about it. Like, you get caught there while the sun go down, you might get skinned, you might get hanged, that kind of stuff. We actually have little towns like that in Oklahoma. So the water, because I was kind of confused on, I couldn't put it together. Two is better than one, the water. So the verse says, Jacob took the stones of that place and put them for his pillows. Jacob made a bed out of rocks. He didn't need no queen size bed. He didn't need a king size bed. He didn't need comforters. He didn't need those things. So we got to start building our mind up for that kind of situation. You know, get the 2 Kings, Baba Kasha.
2 and what?
2 and 2.
This is 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 2. It says, and Elijah saw unto.
That's not what I want. Go to 1 Kings.
2 and 2. This is 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 2. And it says, I go the way of all the earth.
King David is talking to Solomon because King David is about to die. This is what he's saying to Solomon right before his death. Come on.
I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and shew thyself a man.
King David, this is what he's telling his son right before he died. Hey, look, be strong, be courageous, show yourself a man. Let's keep reading.
Show thyself a man. Verse 3. Salakia. Verse 3. Ooh, I'm in 2 Kings. Salakia. Noob alert. This is 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 3 says, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
God. So King David was like, hey, bro, make sure you're being strong, be courageous, and don't neglect the charge of the Lord. Make sure you keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Hey, make sure you're giving the judgments according to the Bible. Make sure you keep the testimonies of our forefathers close to you. Look, this is what you got to do to be a man. So that's an example of how you be a man. Give 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. That don't sound right. Give 1 Corinthians 11 and 13.
Done.
One of those.
Gotcha.
One of those gonna hit.
1 Corinthians what?
Try 11 and 13.
All right, this is 1 Corinthians 11 and 13. And it says, judge in yourselves.
All right, go to 13 and 11.
Okay. This is 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. And it says, when I was a child.
When I was a child.
I spake as a child.
Uh-huh.
I understood as a child.
Meaning I couldn't really understand that. This is grown folk business, you know. Right now, we breaking bread as men, as young men, you know, trying to be industrious, trying to be strong, trying to be courageous, trying to be mighty. We can only hope to do the things that our forefathers did. This is the beginning of it, where we get that understanding, where we sit at the round table and we break bread and we eat and we discuss these things. Let's keep going.
I thought as a child,
Mm-hmm.
but when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Hey, but when we start to become men, we got to start putting away childish things. You gotta to make room. You got to put away the childish things, and them childish things is really the things that go on in your head. You can't always think like a little boy, man. You can't think that America is just gonna last forever, and you're just gonna have a great time here, and you're just gonna go to the water park, and you're gonna throw water balloons, and after that, you're gonna eat cotton candy every day. We gotta stop. We gotta stop thinking like that. We gotta start thinking about. We gotta start thinking about these prophecies. We gotta start meditating on the testimonies. Always meditating in the law, statutes, commandments. Make sure you're abounding in the work of the Lord. Make sure you're steadfast. You're standing on your square. Make sure you're trying to build up this spiritual house for your family, a spiritual fence for your family. Make sure when demons is coming in, you check them at the door and you put them out. This is you becoming a man. You got to put away those childish thoughts, and you worried about having the new retros, the new Jordans. You know, that's you being a child. Or you want to get a Tesla. Look, put away those childish things, man. You know, we got to start. Look, I'm not saying it's you in sin if you get you a pair of Jordans. I'm saying make sure that's not where your mind is at 24/7. You know. Let's go back to 2 Maccabees, man.
Hey, can I get one more precept just to lighten the mood a little bit? It's kind of funny.
Kai.
A man, of course, is going to set his house in order. We all agree. But check this out. This is 2 Samuel 17 and 23. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass and arose and gat him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order and hanged himself and died. This nigga got his household in order just to smack himself. You got to be in that kind of spirit in these classes. You got to be ready to get your household in order.
Oh man. Hey, in Sirach chapter 3, it tell you that the honor goes to the Most High, or excuse me, it goes to the man. Man, I gotta grab it because hey, you remember we were just reading about Hezekiah? Bro was about to die. The prophet Isaiah told Hezekiah what? He said, get your house in order. Right before he was finna die, he got his house in order. He prayed, he besought the Lord, and the Most High God added to his life 15 more years. That's some G stuff. But Sirach 3 and 2, it says, for the Lord hath given the father honor over the children. The Most High God put, hey, we are reverenced by children. You the man in the household. Hold it down, King. That's how I look at my dad. Hey, that's how I look at my father-in-law. We reverence him. It says, and have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Hey, you got the man, you got the mother, and then you got the kids. Hey, the king, the husband, he confirms the authority to the mother so that he can actually, chill out a little bit. That take a little bit of stress off of him. Give a little bit of the responsibilities to the mother. And it made me think about this precept whenever I can't remember his name, but you went to 2 Samuel 17 and 20 something. Basically, God's got his house in order, then killed himself. Just like, dang, man. Well, if you confirm the authority to the mother, look, it is what it is. It just made me think of that. Nothing crazy. I'm not making a crazy point or nothing. Just that's just what went across my mind. So let's get back to where we was. Okay. 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, and we had verse like 11.
Okay.
Man, it's finna get good, man.
Okay.
It's finna get great.
2 Maccabees 6 and 11.
Mm-hmm. Actually 12.
6 and 12. God.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 12. And it says, now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities.
So when we read in Maccabees, don't be discouraged because you see all hell breaking loose. Come on.
But that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction.
The things that happened to our forefathers in this time, it wasn't for our destruction. So don't take it as, man, we never gonna make it out of this. That's not what this was for. It tell you in Baruch chapter 4, I want to say verse 6, that the Most High delivered us to the other nations and to the heathens, not for our destruction, but because we moved him to wrath. Let's keep reading.
It says, not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation.
It says it was just to chasten us. It was just to discipline us. It was just to regain order and balance and structure. That's why all hell breaks loose. That's why he puts us through these difficult situations. Let's keep going.
It says, I'm just gonna read a little up. It says, but they that judge those but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. Verse 13. For it is a token of his great goodness.
Hey, it is a token. It is another word for token is a sign. When the Most High God chasten us, that means he's dealing with us as sons, as kids, just like a father. You know, the Most High God isn't treating, we're not bastards. We got a father. We got a God. So when he disciplines us or put us in our place or sets order in the house, it's a token and it's a sign. Read that part again.
Verse 13. For it is a token of his great goodness.
It's a token that he loves us and he cares about us. Come on.
When wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished.
Hey, so it says when the wicked doers, they're not suffered for a long time, meaning they don't get away with it for a long time. They forthwith punished. They punished on the spot. That's how the Most High God deals with us a lot of the times. And he's going to elaborate why he deals with us in that way. Keep reading.
Verse 14. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish.
So with the Israelites, with his people, when we mess up and make a mistake, he disciplines us. That's why you have instant judgment. I punch Zion, I turn around and run into the damn door or something. Instant judgment. The Most I got, hey, we start breaking commandments, we go into captivity immediately. We get in trouble quick. All right, there goes 70 years in Babylon. Oh, you want to sacrifice to that God? All right, well, we're going to have the Persians pull up. You got something?
Yeah, I want to get something for you. You can break it down, though. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 1. It says, hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
God, the Most High God is only dealing with the nation of Israel on this kind of level. That's why when we mess up, he on our bumper quick and immediately. Just like you see a son mess up, hey, you correct it right then. So it's not a big problem later. You're like, hey, don't do that. Hey, that's a no-no. Hey, make sure you don't do that. All right, I'm not going to keep telling you again. Boom, he get a whooping. Oh, you still don't get it? Boom. All right, well, now he's starting to get it after so many times. And that's how he deals with us as sons, as children. But as for the other nations, he patiently forbeareth to punish them. Meaning they mess up, he don't say nothing. They mess up, he don't say nothing. They kill the Israelites, he don't say nothing. Right? They sacrificed on my temple. All right, cool. He let them get away with it until, I'm not going to spoil it. Let's keep reading, Zion.
Till they become to the fullness of their sins.
He waits till they get to the fullness of their sins. Come on.
So dealeth he with us.
Come on.
Lest that being come to the height of sins.
Lest if he dealt with us how he deals with them, we would come to the height of our sins, to the fullness of our sins. Come on.
Afterwards, he should take vengeance of us.
Con. Where you at? Verse what?
I'm at 16 now.
16. I want you to read. Yeah, go ahead.
It says, and therefore he never withdraweth his mercies from us, and through he punished with adversaries, yet doth he never forsake his people.
Con. So though He puts us and punishes us with our adversaries, with heathens, and with captivities. That's how he shows us his love. Now, it's not like that with the other nations. It's not like that with the other nations. With the other nations, he let them get to the fullness of their sins, and he gives them a complete judgment all at once, right? And what that judgment look like all at once is something that you can't handle. So with us, he chastens us a little here, a little there, and that's how he deal with us so that we're able to bear it. That's why I quoted 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, because that's how he deals with us. You know, he breaks it down to us so we can actually bear it. But with the other nations, they get their judgment in a whole lump sum. They got a whole lot of debt to pay. You know, we pay ours a little here, a little there. You know, make it easier to bear. I gotta stop rhyming. Keep going, King.
It says, verse 17. But let this that we at sorry, let me start over. It says, verse 17 says, but let this that we as spoken be for a warning unto us. And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words.
So the things that's spoken in this Bible, let it be for a warning, to warn us, to let us know, like, hey, this is what's going to happen if you do this. You know, this is how things is going to play out if you move like this. These things was written for our learning, so that we, through comfort and patience of the scriptures, might have hope.
Come.
Verse 18.
Verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
So Eleazar, he was constrained against his will. They opened his mouth. And this is a favorable man, an honest man, a sincere man who lived a sincere life. He was forced. They opened his mouth by force. They pried his mouth over and tried to force him to eat pork. Let's keep going, though.
Verse 19. But he chooses rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination. Spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment.
He would rather die, it says gloriously, than to be, what's the word it used, Zion? Than to be stained, than to live stained with an abomination. God. He spit forth the damn pork. You know? Let's keep going. Yeah, I don't understand why little Pup DT, Salakia King, we're not going to allow you to come up right now. It's not one of those kind of things right now, Salakia.
So let me in.
He was for real. He said, hey, send a link. Let me get up there, King. Salakia King, we're not doing one of those tonight. Let's keep going, Zion.
Then to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment.
And he said, look, I'm going to spit this out. Whatever y'all got laid out for me for not eating this, I'm going to go to it willingly because I'm not dying like that. You know, I'm not going out stained. Let's keep going.
As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted.
Come on.
Verse 21. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast for the old acquaintance, they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
So that could sound confusing for some of y'all who's not familiar with this chapter. So I'm going to clear it up nice and crisp. The old man, Eleazar, he said, I'm not doing that. Kill me. You know, I'm not going out like that. What they wanted to do instead of killing him, they was like, look, bro, we're not going to kill you. We need you to come up here, though. And this is what we can do, because we know you're not going to eat pork. Just come up here, eat what's lawful for you. You can be eating goat. You can eat some lamb. We don't care. But we're going to make it seem like it's pork. That way, you don't have to eat pork, but the message gets across that you was eating pork. That way, the Israelites will go into sin.
That's crazy.
That's what they said. So I'm going to read verse 21 again. It says, but they that had charge of that wicked feast For the old acquaintance they had with the man, because the man old, he'd been around for a minute. It's a wicked feast going on, and this is what they wanted him to do. They said they take him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, meaning you can bring whatever flesh or meat that you want to eat. You know, let's turn the page and see what it says. Bring the meat that you want to bring and eat at the feast, as it is lawful for you to eat, and make it as if you did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. So the flesh that everybody was eating at this feast was unclean. Now, when you take Eleazar, he's a strong man. Everyone looks up to him. He's an elder. So if all the Israelites see the elder taking part in this sacrifice, or it look like it, he's eating the sacrifice that they doing, everyone else is going to be like, okay, well, we can do it.
Crafty.
But they would just tell him to bring his own food, but make it seem like it's that. You know, but let's see what Eleazar did. Let's keep reading.
God. Verse 22. That in so doing, he might be delivered from death.
And if he did do this, he wouldn't die. Come on.
And for the old friendship with them find favor.
So he said, look, we're not going to kill you, and you're going to find a little bit more favor from us. It's going to be easy over here. It's going to be a breeze. We're going to look out for you. That's what they're trying to say. They're making it sound sweet. Let's keep going.
But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereunto was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave.
It says he was thinking. It said he was thinking what all the education he got from a youth. He started thinking about the law, statutes, and commandments, the holy law, statutes, and commandments. Let's put some respect on it. He started thinking, man, it says his aged hairs is in his excellency of his ancient years. This man was really meditating.
We gotta start from the
top. He was really meditating. Read that again. Chop it up.
Like it. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereunto was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed the straightways to send him to the grave.
He said, kill me, send me to the grave.
That's cold.
Even if I'm not going in sin, technically, I'm not eating anything that y'all sacrifice, and I'm not eating no unclean foods. Because I'm gonna be the vessel that ignites and starts all of my people to go into sin. Khan Kodashi said he wasn't having it. He wasn't going for that. He said, send me to the grave, please. I'll die before I do that to my people.
Send him to the grave.
Now, tonight, we got to do this because we already did it. Think about this in modern times, in this era, in this land. Think about it. They might have a strong elder in the truth. You know, someone that everyone looks up to. Someone strong, mighty. You know, they might try and offer him a little side deal. They tried to offer Eleazar a side deal. Said, look, bro, you ain't got to actually go into sin, but we need you to make it look like it. It could be anybody. It could be you. The brothers you look up to. They could try and offer me a side deal. Any of the brothers. You know, it could be a priest Zabak.
True.
You know, name somebody well known in the truth, man.
So lucky. And they always do that right now with the rappers.
Yeah, they offer them little side deals. Look, we need you to put on a dress. You know what I'm saying? And look, here's the side deal. You don't got to be gay. We're not saying make it say that you're gay, but we need you to wear this dress. And look, we'll add a 20,000 bonus on your next check.
Pretend to live this life.
Yeah, that's what we need you to do. They do that with famous people. Like when you get famous, all of the famous people will tell you it's not what you think. It's not what you want. You don't want to live this lifestyle. You hear that from all kind of people who actually made it, you know, in the Hollywood, man. That's a whole nother lesson right there. I like topics like that. You know, it's not what you think. They have you living the double life, man. You get so caught up with the double life, you don't even know who you really are and where you belong. You know, you have something, King?
Khan, Salakia, Captain DeBar or Mahar, whichever one of y'all got a 1611, can y'all go to the description of Sirach 39? I'm gonna read it, but just see if y'all can find that for me. It might be, I think it's a description about what Sirach 39 is going over. But I'm finna read a little bit of Sirach 39 because it's plainly describing the man that we reading about right now, Eleazar, wise man. This is Sirach 39 and 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. So Eleazar was a man of wisdom, a man of understanding, and obviously he knew what was actually going on, because we see when Yahushua hit the scene, Yahushua said what? He said, anyone that offend the little ones, it'd be rather, it's better for him to hang a millstone about his neck if you offend the little ones, you know. And Eleazar knew that, but Yahushua hasn't hit the scene yet. Eleazar knew he could not offend the little ones. It also says in James 4 and 17, I think James 4 and 19, one of them, that it says, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. You know, so Eleazar knew not to do the Salaki, I ain't trying to trick that off. He knew not to eat whatever it was that was lawful, because he knew that it would cause him to sin and it would cause his people to sin. But verse 8, I'm gonna jump down to verse 8. It says, he shall show forth that which he hath learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. Eleazar showed forth what he had learned since he was a youth. He had showed forth what he had learned in his old age. He showed forth his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that day by denying that food. I'm gonna jump down to 11. It says, if he die, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000, and if he live, he shall increase it. And Eleazar said, man, take me to the grave, man. He left a better name than 1,000. A name is all you got. That's who you are. That's your reputation. When brothers speak of Eleazar, they be like, who? Eleazar the Great? Is that who we talking about? Eleazar the man that's solid, that's built on a rock. Eleazar the man that got put to death for his nation. It says he shall leave a name that's greater than 1,000. Mar, did y'all find that description or not?
Salakia, I ain't got it.
Con. So if anybody got a 16 and 11, I believe the description for Sirach 39 is a man of wisdom, basically, or a man of understanding. This is what a man of understanding and a man of wisdom, this is the example that he would give, you know. Like verse 8 said, it says he will show forth that which he hath learned and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. You know, Eleazar showed forth what he had learned. He knew that he could not do this because it would transgress his people. It would offend his people. It would offend his whole nation if he was just to eat lamb and make it seem like it was pork, like the brother said. Because I know a lot of brothers look up to Naquam. Say in the last day, God forbid, I ain't even finna use Naquam. Say, God forbid, a renowned brother do such and such. He's saying in front of everybody. Now you like, damn, okay, since he did it, it's cool if I do it. I follow him. You know, I know he's a good brother. He wouldn't do something that's that wicked. I'm gonna follow him. You know, and you don't wanna be that brother. You don't want to be that person that put your trust in men that much to where you would go off just because you see him going off. You don't want to be that brother. But go ahead, King.
Hey, that's you made a lot of strong points that I liked. We gotta get Lil Pup DT out of here because he's repping. Hey, look, check this out though. So go. Let me see. 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 9. So it's lawful for this man to technically it's lawful for him to not eat the swine's flesh and to just chill. It's lawful for him to do that, but it wouldn't like him.
Long day.
Right. I'm gonna just read the scripture. 1 Corinthians 8:9. It says, "But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak." So Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, me and Officer Aharon was reading this. 1 Corinthians chapter 8 is going into things strangled and eaten in them temples, them things that's sold in the shambles. But basically, if that liberty of yours causes another man to go into sin, it's going to be on your head. So what he did was the wisest thing he could have done. No, I'm not going to be the reason why my brothers fall. You know, that's brotherly love. We can go back to Israelite Hebrew 101. That's brotherly love. Just because it's lawful for me to get up here, I'm not eating pork, you know, what's the what's so bad about it? No, there's brotherly love, because if you cause your brother to fall, man, you guilty, you know. So yeah, let's keep going, man.
Gone. 2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse this is verse 24, right? For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to disassemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion.
Hey, bro, 90 years old.
Jeez.
A score is 20. So a 4 score would be 4 times 20, which is 80. But then it says plus 10. So bro is Eleazar is 90 years old. It would be he's not going to do that, lest everybody think that he went into a strange religion and start believing something else. And he's not going to stain his honor like that. He's not going to go out that way. Let's keep going.
24 again. It says, for it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to disassemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion. Verse 25. And so they, through my hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me. And
he said, though, read that part again a little slow.
Verse 25. And so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer.
It says, me being a hypocrite, desiring to live a little longer, a little moment longer, that causes my brothers to fall. That's really selfish. You're going to cause all of these people to go off because you want to live a little bit longer. And you already 90.
Live the whole life.
Right. That's not right. But he did the right thing. Let's keep going.
God, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion. And so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my own age and make it abominable.
Keep going.
For though for a present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead.
He said, look, if I do this for a little moment, I'm going to be spared by men. Meaning they not going to come kill me.
They won't punish me right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be spared for a little moment. But he says if I do it, I'm going to get destroyed by the Most High God.
God.
You know, that's a fact. Let's keep going.
Verse 27, wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such as in one as mine age requires.
So he's 90 years old. He said, now I'm going to show myself how a man actually behaves. One thing I used to say in the world a lot is, excuse my language if you don't like it, but this is what I would say all the time. Real niggas do real shit. Real men do manly things. And he's going to show himself a man as his age requires. He's 90 years old. You know, he has to move by example. He has to lead his people. Let's keep reading.
I'm gonna read for 27 again. It says, wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such an one as mine age requireth, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously. So I got my brothers. Courageously for the honorable and holy laws.
Hold on. On his way to death, he said, I'm going to leave a notable example
to the young
men so that they know to die willingly and courageously. What did it say?
For the honorable and holy laws.
Let's keep reading. That's busted.
And when he has said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
As soon as he said that, he immediately went to the torment.
Cold.
That's crazy. This is the example that he left for us, man. That we should die willingly and courageously for the holy law, statutes, and commandments.
God. Shema Mashiach.
If you don't see yourself doing that, you're in the wrong place right now. Because our forefathers did this. If you don't think that you're on that level, you got to get to that level where you can see yourself dying for the law, statutes, and commandments. This is over pork. Bro said, nah, I die before I do that.
God.
Hey, what Peter saying in Acts chapter 10, we were just talking about this. He said, I have never eaten anything common or unclean. You know, and he got the vision 3 times. He said, not so, Lord. You know, that's not a real thing for me. We're not doing that. You know, I'm not going to cause my brothers to fall. We're not doing that. I die for that. I will die before I lead my brothers in the wrong direction. Before I lead them astray, man. Let's keep going. That's fire. This is the kind of mindset that we got to be moving in. Let's go, man.
Verse 29. They that led him, changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind. Verse 30. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten. But in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him.
Oh my God. He is spitting.
He's getting beat up.
He is
groaning. He's sore.
He's on fire right now. He's on fire. What seems to be him taking the L and dying, he turned that into a W. Jeremiah been pulling this scripture out lately. And man, I'm praying that I can find this real quick. He been pulling this out, man. He pulled it out not too long ago. And man, it's
God, let me get Kodash's one right quick.
Oh, you got a preset?
Yeah. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
So, hey, that's a good precept. 10 to 28. I didn't even know he pulled that. Hey, we not afraid of the men that can just kill our bodies, man. We're afraid of the Most High God, man, because he can destroy our souls. You know,
man. For that.
Okay, go ahead.
Con, this is First Peter chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "For as much then as Christ hath suffered for us in the flesh," it says, "arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin." So, Con, this brother armed himself likewise in the same mind as the Lord our Savior. You know, he suffered in the flesh, but he did it because he feared the Lord. You know, and he ceased from sin. His body is no longer subject to sin. He in the spiritual world right now, chilling. Why? Because he just endured a little bit of chastisement. That's all. He just endured a little chastisement for the kingdom. Go ahead, King.
So the precept that I was looking for is 1 Peter chapter 2 at verse 19, and I'll read it, King. But just so y'all can go there, it's 1 Peter chapter 2 and 19, and the precept is cold, man. My captain showed me this. 1 Peter chapter 2 and 19 says, "For this is thankworthy." Meaning this is something that you can thank the Most High God about. This is something you can praise him for. It says, "For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully." So it's thankworthy. It's a blessing. It's a beautiful thing when you can take wrongdoing and you can suffer and grief for doing the right thing. Now let's keep reading. It says, "For what glory is it when ye be buffeted for your faults? Ye shall take it patiently." So meaning, whenever I mess up, my captains, my officers, even soldiers, they have the right to get on my head. And I take it patient, like, damn, I shouldn't have did that. I got to go repent. I got to make sure I get back in order. That's wrong. I can't do that. That's not, I'm trying to get to the kingdom. Let me recalibrate my mind. Is that acceptable? No. The water for the rebuke and reproving me. But watch what the next part of the verse says. "But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God." So when you do wrong, it's expected for you to take it patiently, like, hey, you can't be doing that, and you take rebuke and you take chastening. But when you do well, meaning when you don't mess up and you get in trouble anyway, that's acceptable in the eyes of the Most High God.
Explains it in 21. I'll read 21.
Go ahead.
It says, 1 Peter 2 and 21. It says, "For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps."
Hey, the same things Yahushua went through. He suffered wrongfully, and that was acceptable. That was thankworthy in the eyes of the Most High God. Eleazar, the same example. He went to the torment. He got put to death wrongfully, and that was acceptable in the eyes of the Most High God. Lord willing, y'all can see the point that I'm trying to make in that. Suffering and going through affliction, even though you didn't do anything, that's acceptable in the eyes of the Most High God. That's good. He look at them like, Khan, that's good. That's what our Lord did. You know, let's keep reading. There's one more verse in this chapter, man.
I'm gonna read 30 again.
That was fire.
This is 2MACCABEES chapter 6 verse 30. "But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, It is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge."
And the Lord sees what I'm doing and what I'm enduring wrongfully. Come on.
"That whereas I might have been delivered from death,"
even though I could have got away from this torment, come on,
"I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten."
I don't run from it. I run towards it, man, with a good conscience towards God. Come on.
"But in soul am well content to suffer these things."
And in my mind and in my soul, I'm content to go through these things for my people. This is how you win over the Most High God, man. It's not just talking and praising them with your lips. You got to show, you got to do deeds. You got to have action behind it. You got to walk the walk. Come on.
but in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him.
Because what?
I fear him.
Come on.
Verse 31. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and in memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nations.
So this man died, leaving a notable example for the young men, the young women, and for the whole nation, for the whole body. I can only hope to do something as honorable as this in my life, man.
For real.
This is crazy. He didn't just do that. Instead of a no greater love than this, you know, Officer Aharon, can you grab that? No greater love. I should have that memorized.
John 15:13.
Yeah.
Con, I'm here. This is John 15, verse 13. It says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
No greater love than this, than a man that lays down his life for his friends, for his brothers, for the young men of his nation. You know he's straight, man. You don't think the Most High God was happy with him? You don't think the Most High God was proud of him? I'm nothing. I'm nobody, and I'm proud of him. I haven't even met this man, and I'm proud of him. I strive to be as honorable as him.
For real.
To show that much brotherly love. Instead of saving my own skin, I willingly died for my nation. That's how I want to go down in history, man. I want to go down like that. Go down like that's what? That is crazy. Am I tripping or is that busting? That's when you be like, that's busting.
I was busting. That's right.
That's it.
Yeah, I ain't Aharon, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got Aharon like this, bro.
That's crazy. Any of the officers got anything? Officer Tahawam. Khan. Captain.
La.
Aharon, get that 1 Corinthians from me, Baba Kashah.
God, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not vain in the Lord.
Khan. So make sure you steadfast, you standing on your square. Make sure you're unmovable and you're not wavering. Make sure you're not tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, every religion, every emotion, and every spirit. Make sure they can't just come into your body, come into your temple, come into your mind, and stir up trouble. And they having parties in your temple. Make sure that's not a possibility. So make sure you stand fast, unmovable. It says abounding in the work of the Lord. That doesn't mean you have to be teaching to do the work of the Lord. You can do the work of the Lord by being patient, being long suffering, being faithful, being loving and caring for your brothers and sisters. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ain't gotta be teaching, it can just be by your actions.
Khan. Make sure you're doing the law, statutes, commandments. That's how you do the work. Make sure you're trying to build your family up, setting your house in order, because we're in these last days and things is coming to an abrupt end. All hell is getting ready to break loose, man. We can't say that enough. Knowing that your work is not in vain, you do get a reward with the Most High God. You know, we run in a race. At the end of the race, we hope to get crowned. You know, we hope to make it to the kingdom. Hey, Tawada to all the Agiam and Agwaf that tuned in. It was a beautiful lesson. We didn't dive into nothing deep or crazy, but Lord willing, somebody had some kind of food and they tasted and was like, I'm glad I showed up tonight. I know it's late. It's 12:27. So Tawada for everybody that rocked with me. Sirach 43 and 30 says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed, And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary, for you can never go far enough. And with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shah. Like General Hezekiah always say, never forget, death to America. Shalom, wa barak mashpakah. Shalom, family. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.